Well, good evening everybody. It's about 4:15 here in the west of Ireland. This is still a bit light. I've just, she said breathing heavily rather, and heavenly probably as well. I've just finished laying the gravel. Now, I've had to do it in just in small sections because I wanted to eke it out to cover as much as possible. So what I've done is, this bit here now is bare, but that's okay. So I've tied it all in here on the driveway. So I haven't been able to go right to the edges there, but that's no loss on that. I've put a bit more down on the paths around the cottage. So that's it now, finished with that. There's a bit over here which I didn't have enough gravel for, but I have a little plan for that, and I'll tell you. One of the things that I was thinking of when I was spreading the gravel was the fact that I actually just don't really want cars up around here. Like, I have a little car, a Toyota Aygo. It isn't even, it's 98, whatever it's called, litres. What is that? It's basically the smallest car you can get, okay? Now, I'm going to make a sign and put it down on the gate by the road. I'm going to keep the gate closed, and the sign's going to say, no cars beyond this point. So people can just park down at the bottom of the driveway and walk up. Because one of the big things as well from about the 1970s onwards has been this growing demand for more and more vehicles. So people can't seem to cope with the idea of parking their vehicle and walking to a particular place. And I mean, when you think of it, really, it's kind of ridiculous in a way to want to drive up this driveway and park right in front of the cottage in order to take the 3 or 4 steps to the door. So I'm not going to have the driveway continually just degraded by cars, because this isn't about cars. This is about Mother Earth and nature. And so basically just keep this as an access road really for anyone who's coming up here, with a small, with a baby or with luggage. Then obviously that suits to drive up here and park. So what I'm going to do, this is a prelude to what I'm going to do here. I feel I have too much driveway. So can you see where I've brought the gravel up to? I'm going to create a big bed here for planting into. And I think I'm going to use it for vegetables actually. So it's going to be an interesting shape. It's not going to be square because I hate square things. But it is going to have some nice curves on it. I'm going to bring down some stones from up around the stone circle. There's a few stones still there in the bank. I'm going to put logs in, so it's going to be very much like these little rustic beds here, which are very clearly defined now with the gravel. So you can see what they're made of. I mean, in some cases logs with stones on top, and that's straight onto gravel. And the same here on the other side. Actually, you can see Buddha now as well, which is quite nice. So we've got some nice clear definitions. So yeah, I think this particular spot would be very advantageous for a small vegetable bed, because it's not directly in the shadow of the cottage. You've got the little barn that's coming out there. It's tucked in here with bushes. I can trim back some of the bushes to allow for a wee bit more space. It's also quite sort of sheltered along here. So this is the plan. So tomorrow I'm going to make a start on that. Now I'm going to bring it down here. Yeah, bring it down along here so I can still go in and out of this little space. Bring it up to here and around. And then I'm going to stop it here at this point. No, I might not, because I don't really need to have this path open. I've got enough paths. Or I might just leave a little path through it, but I'm going to continue it on round anyway to where that gravel ends and bring it up and around. So we'll see how that pans out. But just as I was spreading this gravel, I just kept thinking to myself, what is it with people in cars that they've got to come right up to the door? You know, it's a question that has to be asked. I mean, I grew up in a household that didn't have a car. We walked to the shops, we walked back. Okay, so I'm out in the countryside. I can't quite walk to the shops and walk back, but I'll tell you what I can do. I can actually park my car down by the gate and walk up, unless I have a huge load of shopping. I think this is the way to go, rather than driving it right up here to the top and then reversing it. I could park it down there on the flat bit of the drive and just walk up. I've really enjoyed doing this. I'm absolutely tired out. I could say that every, bone in my body, every joint aches, but actually it doesn't. Because I think I'm fairly fit, doing manual work. But it certainly has given me a few ideas about the progression of Bealtaine Cottage. I mean, initially, when I had all this gravel put in, the initial gravel, which is bluestone, it went all the way around the cottage, because the idea was that if you're going to lay a driveway, you laid it all the way around the cottage, so cars could literally come up and turn and come back round. And that idea, when it settled into my head after I had it done, began to appall me, and I thought, this isn't how I want to live. This isn't what I pictured in my head, of a little sanctuary, where you had ever increasing 4x4s, great big vehicles, which would seem like giants in comparison to the cottage, sort of driving around it and skidding, and I've noticed as well that people drive very fast up that driveway. So I think I'm going to diminish the status of the car. That's my intention. That's what I'm going to do. And I already have a couple of friends who are very happy to park down by the gate and walk up, and that's Davina and her daughter Charlie. I mean, they have no problem with that at all, and quite enjoy the walk up. So, anyway, that's the thoughts that's been circulating in my head as I've been working. Now I've got to jump in the car and I've got to go down to the garden centre and pay for the gravel. And I want to thank Heather Dakota and oh gosh, I said this before, didn't I? Gotta get those names right. Is it Declan? Down in Wicklow? I'm going to check these names out. Right, and maybe make another little video later on, because there's a few things I want to just relay to you. So anyway, this is just the ramblings of Colette at Bealtaine Cottage after a most gratifying, though hard, afternoon's work. So, blessings to you all.